What's poppin'? Welcome back to the beach, where I'm joined again by my co-host Blake for Maxify Seminar. Um,
So today we are going to be talking about a film called Spencer.
this was a film from last year. Um, One of my favorite movies of the year, probably my second favorite movie of the year, just behind Pig.
This movie follows Princess Diana through a weekend away with her family.
Yeah, it's like a Christmas holiday where she has to go uh, to the royal palace somewhere out in the English countryside, and stay there for the weekend. And this is like a grueling and terrible weekend for her. She does not want to be there, and I think the film is remarkable because off the synopsis, it sounds very much like this is going to be a biopic.
Yeah.
And especially just thinking of it in broader terms, like, oh, this is a movie about Princess Diana.
And that's what I thought going into it. I was like, oh, this is gonna be like the biopic of her life, and then she meets
Yeah.
and then she dies in a car crash or whatever. But it was actually, I liked it better because it was just kind of like this cross section of her life, just for a weekend.
It's just this little slice, and also the genre is not your typical biopic. This feels a lot more like a psychological thriller or a horror movie, even, with dream sequences, and you really feel her terror at being in this place,
And,
her
dread.
uncomfortable. Yeah, dread is a great word for it. It feels like The Shining at times.
It's kind of suspenseful in a way.
Yeah, I think it's a very suspenseful movie.
And you can really feel a lot of the pressure that's being put on Princess Diana to fit in with the royal family.
But another advantage of this being built out of a story that, like Blake was talking about, we all know the story of Princess Diana. It's this very publicized thing. It's like history. And so we know where her story ends. We know who she is. And I think that gives the character in the movie so much more depth because we already know how this is going to go. So this little side story that's just the slice of life from this one weekend is so much more powerful because we know the whole story, but this is just a sliver of it.
I also think it's good that they did it this way, because if they did it normal biopic version, it would kind of feel like you're just learning something you already know. Like, biopics do that normally, but in this one it would be very, since everyone already kind of knows the whole story.
And especially because biopics are known for being so formulaic.
Especially, yeah. For example, pretty much any biopic that has to do with a musical artist is...
Those especially, yeah.
They, get involved with music, then somehow involve themselves in drugs, start abusing drugs, and then either die or, something else bad happens. But it wasn't like that, so I really liked it.
And Kristen Stewart gives the performance of her career, I think, as Diana. She really gives herself to this character, and a lot of the actors chosen for this movie look very similar to the actual people at that time, that the real people who this
I think the
based
casting
on.
was really good in this movie.
And also the costuming, I think, has a lot to do with it. Timothy Spall, who you may know from the Harry Potter films or maybe from Enchanted, makes a kind of surprise appearance in this movie. I was not expecting him, and
we were like, is that guy?
Yeah, and it was him, and he's kind of this sort of the villain, but sort of not.
Mysterious.
Yeah,
he's.
But he was another highlight of the movie for sure.
He definitely made it seem give the movie kind of an eerie mood, like Spencer was always being watched. Something that surprised me about this movie that has been happening more often than not, is this movie is shot on film. And I was halfway through the movie, I was like, this looks kind of like it was shot on film. And then turns out it was.
Yeah, this movie has a great 35mm look. It's a very beautiful movie, and we were talking about this. Sometimes shooting on film, as is the case with the movie X that came out this year, it can put a time period on a movie. And it definitely does that here, but also it results in this movie having some great cinematography. This looks amazing. The set design too. It really looks like The Shining at times.
I
like
just
this
feel like
massive mansion.
using film in this movie put it at a great advantage, because if this movie was shot on digital, it would just seem wrong. Like, the film definitely helps with the time periodization, and it really helps emphasize the feel of this movie.
A lot of people think going back and shooting on film now is like this like very pretentious thing to do. It's not gonna be worth it. But I think this is the greatest example of why shooting on film can add so much to a movie, both thematically but aesthetically, especially in this movie. It's such a great looking movie.
And it's because the reason we're saying that is because, like, they did film for this movie for the right reason. They did it to make the movie feel more real and feel more like fit in with the time period, instead of doing it like how Tarantino does just for a reputation.
But overall, this could have easily been my favorite movie of the year, and I'm gonna give it 2 out of 2 stars.
I think I'll give this movie 2 out of 2 stars as well. I really don't see any problem with this movie.
Yeah, I didn't see any flaws with this movie. The pacing is perfect. The story is told very well and in a very different way from the usual kind of biopic movie. I just love the style. So that's 4 out of 4 stars. Kind of weird that Kristen Stewart is having this like revival right now at the same time as Robert Pattinson is also having this revival right now. It's like finally the Twilight stuff is dying, and it's like they're finally getting a chance to be in some really good movies. But anyways, this has been Maxify Seminar on the beach. I've been Max.
I've been Blake.
And we'll see you in the next one.